What's going on, everybody? I'm Tevin.
And I'm Ollie.
This is
TevOllie Talk.
Today we are going to discuss some of our favorite memories from our time serving in the armed forces. I was Army.
I was Navy.
And I was Army National Guard, just to be specific.
Yeah, let them know because...
But I'm a veteran for some of you active duty people fresh out of boot camp like, oh, God, the Minutemen. Don't try me, bro. But yeah. So we both veterans. And we want to share some of our experiences from the military. We're going to give you guys one of our favorite moments each.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, my love.
Okay, so I was in the Navy, and I was in from the year 2010 to 2000. You know, you could have did that in a way where it was not on camera. But anyway, so I joined in 2010 and was discharged honorably in 2014.
So
and,
she says.
I chose not to re-enlist. That was my decision after I had my son. So that was why I ended up getting out of the military. But one of my favorite memories, and I'm gonna give you one like story too, because I'm sorry, but these two, it shouldn't be a favorite. So the other one is, but okay. One of my favorite memories is when my first time being out to sea. My very first time experiencing it. And at night is one of the most beautiful parts of being on a ship. It's I was on a small boat, and when you go outside and you're on a ship, you can hear it is like completely black. For one, you can't see the hand in front of your face. At least for this boat and where we were, whatever. It was completely black outside, and
no street lights on the ocean.
No. There are lights, but anyway. So I was walking. I don't even know why I was outside. I didn't smoke or I didn't do anything like that. But I was outside and I was walking. It started off very scary. I couldn't see anything, and all of a sudden, there was this object that swung right in front of my face. And I have no idea what it was at all, still to this day, but because it was so dark. But after I got out of that little nook of an area where there's stuff swinging and all this, I got out to where the moonlight was, and I could see the stars. And when you are in America,
yeah, and
you go outside and you see the stars, you can see it, but it's not like when it's pitch black everywhere. And I promise you, there was more light in the sky than there was black. It was so many stars. I had never seen anything like this ever in my life, and I was just standing there
glued to the
sky. And that's a memory that I always looked back on. You know how sometimes, the military can get on your nerves, or there's some stuff you can get really frustrated about, or you miss your family, or, a lot of stuff happens to you emotionally when you're in the military, whatever branch, you're far away from home, or you're on missions and doing things that you've never done before. So it can get to you. And I always went back to that moment and what I saw and how I felt looking at the stars that time. So that was like one of my favorite moments in the military. Another moment that's not necessarily a favorite, but it's very memorable, and I'm gonna give you.
Go ahead,
but no,
your thing, girl.
On boats, there's protocols for like people that fall overboard. Can you imagine falling off of a huge naval ship? So there was an individual that ended up falling off of a boat that was behind us. and the ship that I was on had to turn around, and everybody had to stop everything and look for this individual, because there's so much that could happen. That individual could get sucked up into the rotors or propellers, and based off of which direction that the boat is going, how you're going to turn around, all types of stuff like that has to be taken into consideration and plotted a very strategic way. And I got to witness all of that stuff. So I was eating in we call it it's like a cafeteria.
Chow hall for the Army.
Yeah. And so I was having chow. And well, I don't want to say this, but I was having chow, and we get the alarm that there was somebody overboard. So everybody had to stop what they're doing. We all started looking. People that are not on watch or whatever had to go out and just stand out and just look at the water, because you could see clothes, you could see body parts, you could see whatever, and let us know what happened, or if we could stop searching. We were out there for hours and hours and hours and hours. And the sun started going down. So there's two things that you got to worry about if you end up in the ocean. Sharks, or, just marine life.
A megalodon.
Or getting frostbite once the sun goes down. So the sun started going down, and everybody pretty much figured, we lost. It's been hours and hours and hours. Nobody has found anything. We don't have any leads. We don't know anything. And then I started getting ready for my own watch. It's starting to be nighttime, and the alarms go off again that there's a man overboard. And I went down and took a look at where everybody's at. They found him, and he was alive. I would have never guessed. And what he did, those of you that are getting ready for boot camp and stuff like that, especially for the military, you got to take for the Navy, because you got to take the swim test. Take it serious. Mm-hmm. This individual used what they learned in boot camp to stay alive in the ocean.
They teach you that for a reason.
They teach you that stuff for a reason.
Take your training serious.
That was like, I started crying. I saw them pull this individual out of the water, and it was just all of his clothes fell off of him. Because he couldn't do it no more. He was, and it was just amazing. I guess I could say that's one of my favorite moments. It's not a bad moment. I just didn't want to
It had a happy ending.
Yeah, it had a happy ending. And there's a lot of instances where people don't have happy endings, of course. So, but take boot camp serious. If you're thinking about joining, don't mess around with that stuff.
Train to fight.
Train to fight. Yeah. What about you?
All right. So my favorite military moment was my first time at the demo range.
Okay.
I was a 12 Bravo. That's a combat engineer, and we do explosives. We're not EOD, but we do explosives. We blow stuff up. So my very first time at the demo range was actually in AIT, and we started to actually learn how to make charges. We actually learned our job. And growing up as a kid, I was kind of a pyro maniac. I like to set anything on fire. So this was like heaven for me. I didn't know it could get more exciting than a big fire. So, come on, babe. You know
Okay,
this
I'm
about
sorry.
me. You know I'm destructive. I'm very destructive by nature. So my very first time seeing like a big explosion, like mushroom cloud level explosion, we did what we call a cratering charge, and we basically put a big hole in the ground, a big crater in the ground, and we blew a big chunk out of the earth that was big enough that everybody in our platoon could get in and take a picture. So you guys can only imagine how much explosion that was. I never felt like concussion from a blast or anything like that before then, and that was like the biggest rush that I've ever had because it was my first time. You know, they tell you like this is rated this high, like this is this much TNT, and you just like, okay, you know, TNT. I'm pretty sure it's pretty big. Like, and they tell you like it's this many grenades going off basically. If you know to give you an idea, and we all throw grenades in boot camp, so it's like, okay, I know what one grenade feel like. Man, when you blowing a hole in the ground big enough to park 2 school buses in, that's a pretty big boom. And I fell in love with it ever since then. I love my job in the military, blowing stuff up.
I loved my job too. It's crazy.
But since you talked about the stars in space that you can see when there are no lights where you are, I want to piggyback off that because when I went to Afghanistan, we were in a province that had very little electricity. And when we did long missions where we were just out in the middle of the desert and there were nobody near us with any lights anywhere, yes, you can see a lot of stars in the sky, like the colors of space, like you're looking through a telescope. It's some stars that are like really bright, and you can see the dim stars that are like far, far away. And it's so many more stars in space that you normally see if you live in a more urban or city area. And I remember one night when we were stuck in the mud and it was pitch black outside. All the light we had was from our trucks. And the only truck that really had lights on, the only trucks that had lights on were basically the ones that were shining light on the recovery. So we can keep eyes on our guys on the ground and see what we were doing basically. And I was in the gunner's hatch at this time, and I just leaned back in my seat and I just like looked up and I was like, man, I've never seen this many stars before. Mm-hmm. Like it freezes you in the moment. You're just like, man, there's a lot of stars.
Yeah.
Like it's so many stars that it feel like you're about to float off into space. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like my chest was expanding. Like I was filling up with air going up. Like take me, Lord.
Yeah.
And then we got shot at, and it just turned to chaos. But yeah, that was my first experience. Like get stuck looking in the sky, and I've never been able to see that visual in the States ever again after that. Like I've never seen that many stars since.
Yeah. I mean, there might be places in America, I guess I said that, like, there might be places that have areas where it's like kind of not that much light.
I don't think it's to like that extent.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like being on the ocean. Like
yeah.
Like that's one thing I look forward to when we go on a cruise. It's like, hopefully the ship is not so lit up that we can't see the sky. Because I want to see.
I think it will be.
Probably. But
Yeah.
you still might be able to see the stars. Because that one ship ain't going to like cancel out all them stars.
Well, if we in them groups.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they like have them all ship off at one time. One is for 3 days, one for 7 days, one for like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So who knows?
Who knows?
But
I look forward to it just for that reason only. I'll spend any amount of money that I have to go and see all the stars again.
Yeah, it's that magical. It really is that breathtaking.
I wanted to be an astronaut after that. Like, I want to go up there. But
I'm
no,
scared.
I'm not going. I'm not. You know, I don't care. I'm not scared of heights. I'm not scared of none of that. Bring it on. I'm jumping out of a plane very soon, and that's probably that video footage is gonna probably go on YouTube.
You know, I watched the astronaut stuff, like on documentaries or whatever. And they talk about the black,
Mm-hmm.
how black it is.
Yeah.
I am actually intimidated by that.
Yeah.
I feel like a hand is gonna reach up and grab me.
It's just nothingness. It's so much
That's
distance
too much
between.
nothing.
It's so much distance between you and the next object.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the closest thing to the Earth is like the moon, and there's so much distance between Earth and the moon.
Yeah. I would
love to just be in that little middle space, just looking out around.
You know that movie with Sandra Bullock?
But she always
floated off.
She always messing up.
And then she landed on there, back on Earth, butt naked or whatever.
She always ends up in a bad situation. But anyways, guys, if you guys like that, those are our favorite military moments because we're about to have a whole nother
Yeah, I know, right.
This is going to go offline.
Yes.
But hey, if you guys are veterans or you know somebody that's a veteran, share your story with us. Share your story down low. Share our story with other people.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe. And TevOllie Talk is out. Peace.